Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2018 Lexus RX 350 F Sport. Now, with any F Sport, there is quite a few substantial differences between it and the regular non-F Sport Lexus. And there's quite a few things to talk about here, but we're going to start off with the very basics of the RX. Before I start, many thanks go out to Lexus of Royal Oak for making this video possible. We're looking at a 5-passenger premium SUV that has a 3.5 litre naturally aspirated V6 up front that powers all 4 wheels and comes with an abundance of technology and interesting features. So the things that you'll find in the most basic RX are things like the heated and ventilated front seats up here, the 2 outside seats in that second row, they're heated. We also have a heated steering wheel. The most basic screen you'll have will be 8 inches wide, but the one we're looking at here is 12.3 inches. The Lexus Safety System Plus is actually a standard feature across their entire range of cars these days. The blind spot monitoring system, the lane keep assist, the adaptive cruise control, automatic headlights. And also another neat feature is that you have lights that shoot out from the corner of the car to help illuminate the space in which you're driving to. That is a brilliant feature. And then to separate the F Sport Series 3, which is the one we're in, and that's the top of the line trim, we're getting quite a few other goodies. So that includes the full panoramic sunroof that we have here, that you won't be able to get in the Series 2 F Sport. We have the 15-speaker Mark Levinson system. You've got the 360-degree cameras as well, and when you have that selected up here, you can then choose a corner to have a closer look if you are backing into a space. Now, when it comes to the exterior design, you don't need to see an F Sport badge to know what this RX is. We have the massive blacked out grille with a deeper chin, so it gives a more aggressive stance. You'll have the blacked out wing mirrors, the unique wheels. Probably not the best if you plan on off-roading this vehicle, but I have met exactly 0 people that have ever done that to a Lexus RX. So that's what you'll see on the outside, the major differences. But when you come inside, you're greeted with a few other nice bits and pieces. You'll have different trim here. The steering wheel has paddles behind it to control the 8-speed automatic transmission. We got the heads-up display. The F Sport also has the LFA inspired digital dashboard, and I love it because I love seeing that electronic needle bounce around, and if you're ever trying to go fast and you're shifting the gears manually, it will show where you left off on that gear. Kind of trains you to get closer to the red line. And then perhaps the most significant difference is these seats. Now, I'll tell you right off the bat, I do have back problems. I've had them my entire life, and whenever I get into sporty or sports cars, it's one of the things that will suffer most. They're deeper with more side bolstering, so you feel like you're sitting further back into the seat, but more chair around you, if that makes sense. They are inspired by the full F Performance vehicles. They're just as comfortable as the regular ones that you would find in the non-F Sport RXs. And I really like them. After spending an hour in this and then an hour in the regular seats, I couldn't really tell you a difference in terms of long-term comfort. They feel exactly the same to me. But I prefer these because I like the look of them more. And it's nice to have that hugging along the side of your body, but you still have all of the movement that you'd expect. There's no restrictions of sorts. When it comes to that second row comfort, now you can actually use some buttons at the base of the seats, and what this will do is lean them forwards and backwards ever so slightly. And if you're a tall guy like me, it really does feel like you're in the back of a limousine. You can fold down the armrest and have a little more comfort, and then of course you've got the massive panoramic sunroof to look out of. Also, you have the Lexus touchless boot release, but it's a really weird system. You have to hover your hand over the Lexus badge, and then it will sense your hand is there, and then it will raise the boot. This definitely isn't as smart as, let's say, like a kick to open feature you might find in some competitors' vehicles, because if you're going to raise and hover your hand over the Lexus badge, that means you're already capable of reaching the button underneath to open that power liftback. Kind of a useless feature in my mind. I really appreciate how you have the buttons in the back and you can hit them once and the seats will fold down by themselves. I really appreciate that detail. If you are approaching this car to get a sports SUV, I don't think you're really going to find it here. In comparison to the regular RX, the differences are more pronounced than I originally anticipated. The steering in its normal mode is certainly heavier than the regular RX. We have a different suspension system in here as well, and that contributes to a lot less roll in the corners, but I can't tell you if it's really affecting the ride at all. You can hear the bumps when you go over them, you might get a little movement, but it's in no way unsettling or uncomfortable. You can hear a little more rumble from this V6 when you're on throttle. It doesn't give off the most inspiring noise of any car I've ever driven, but it definitely doesn't groan and gargle like some V6s are known to have that problem. For the interior space, I feel like I have a lot of room to move around. Again, the seats, I don't feel like I'm restricting here at all. This is a neat feature, how with the front cup holder up here, you can actually push it down to store a larger cup and then just simply push this button here for it to rise. There's plenty of great technology, so we have a wireless phone pad down here. We got a heads-up display. The 12.3-inch screen is massive. It's not a touch screen, so you have to resort to using the Lexus infotainment system down here. Now, it does require a little bit of patience and a little bit of learning to figure out, but you have the large physical buttons here on the top and the enter ones on the side if you don't want to push down with the little mouse pad to select something. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto currently isn't available, but with everything that is coming out in the future Toyota and Lexus vehicles, they're now starting to implement Apple CarPlay. They were against it for quite a few years, but it seems like consumer interests persuaded them enough to start implementing it. So the new ES, that's the first Lexus to get Apple CarPlay, and you can be fairly confident that in the years to follow, the rest of the lineup will be updated to have that capability. And I'm sure in a few years' time, I won't have to tell you that a Lexus RX doesn't have Apple CarPlay. The Mark Levinson speaker system, it may be a contender for one of the best sound systems I have ever heard in a car. I can very easily tell you that all the music I listen to in this car feels more in-depth. It feels like it has more range. And when I was in Lexus RX L a couple weeks ago, it didn't have that premium sound system. And I really, really noticed it. In every RX, you do have different driving modes, and they start off as Eco, Normal, and then Sport. But an F Sport exclusive is Sport S Plus. Now, I would highly recommend never putting this car in Eco. It numbs the throttle way too much. Leave the car in Normal, you'll be happy. Put the car in Sport, you'll see the gauges change up slightly. I wouldn't say the throttle gets all that much more responsive, but the steering gets just a touch heavier. In the Sport Plus, you can now start to feel the suspension getting a little stiffer. It's reacting to those bumps and cracks in the road a little more. And then the throttle in Sport S Plus is even more aggressive. Anything else I want to talk about? Well, the styling, you know, like I said, it has all the F Sport trimming, so it is meant to give it a more aggressive, a more assertive character. But it is still based on a luxury SUV, so it's still comfortable, it's still refined. At highway speeds, it is incredibly quiet. I don't mind going for an hour's drive in this car at all. Now, if you're looking at the price of this exact vehicle, we're looking at $70,000 Canadian. And like I said, the way that Lexus pitches the F Sport Series 3 versus the Executive is that they're the exact same price. They come with all the same technology and equipment. Of course, the F Sport will get its unique features. So if you're looking for a 5-passenger SUV with a lot of creature comforts, excellent build quality, and really looks that stand out no matter where you park it, then I think you should seriously consider the Lexus RX 350. Once again, many thanks go out to Lexus of Royal Oak. They were able to lend this car to me so I can review it.